I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. We'll start this evening with the approval of the agenda. I understand we're going to make some changes.
Can't hear you. Could you use the microphone, please?
The special council meetings, it should say April 29th. April 29th. And there will not be a cluster. I think it's to the right, but.
President, one more question. Can we get the Dana and the real-life watch training unfinished business?
No. Give it a minute. Other than that, are we set?
What was that? What happened? We couldn't hear. I can't hear.
We've changed the dates there. We have a typo on the approval of the minutes. Special council meeting on April 23rd has been corrected to the 29th. And under unfinished business, number 6, the attorney. Mr. McKinney is not here. He has nothing to report, so there's no need for Mr. McKinney to be here. Mr. Vick wanted to know if we could have the Wheelock-Watkins drain and the dam brought onto the agenda, and I said no.
Why?
We stand with the same thing under the advisement of our attorney, that's why. With that said, I'd like to move on to the approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Can you
guys use your mics, please? Can't hear. Brandon?
Yes.
Horton?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Vic?
No.
Baldwin?
Yes. Now, before we go into the approval of the other minutes, thank you. Good job, Tim.
My pleasure, President.
Now we're going to do the approval of all of our other council meetings that we've had. And we will start with the regular council meeting, our special council meeting of the 13th of April 2015.
Make a motion that we approve the April 13, 2015 regular council meeting.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Brandon?
Yes.
Horton?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Vic?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes. The special council meeting of April the 17th, 2015.
I'll second that. Is that your motion?
I did. I made a motion on that. Tracy, please. Roll call again.
Brandon?
Yes.
Horton?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Vic?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes. Third one is the April 20th, 2015 special council meeting.
Support.
Brandon?
Yes.
Horton?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Vic?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes. The special council meeting of April 27th, 2015. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Thank you.
Support.
Thank you.
Brandon?
Yes.
Horton?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Vic?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes. The April 29th, 2015.
Motion.
Support.
Brandon?
Yes.
Horton?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Vic?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes. And the last one, the May 5th.
I'll make a motion for the May 5th, 2015.
Support.
Brandon?
Yes.
Horton?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Vic?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes. The treasurer's report is the purple sheet. discussion?
Question that I had, since we're going over the budget, and in our budget shows a general fund of $300,000. Is that the combined for the general fund and general fund savings, where we're getting that tally?
Well, that would add up to 258. Yeah, that's where the fund balance is at the end of last year. That money is used all during the course of the year, and as revenue comes in, it replenishes it.
Make a motion, we accept the treasurer's report for May 11th, 2015.
Support.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Brandon.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
Dick.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes.
Bills and transfers, should be the green sheet. This question I have on there is the wood chipper.
They rented a wood chipper when they, I don't know, I think it was when I was gone to Florida, they cut a bunch of stuff that was hanging low on Dutch Road that was hitting the road grader, so they went out there and trimmed it so they get the road grader through, and they used the chipper to get rid of the chips. And since then, the people who own the property have taken all the dead stuff down that was falling out in the road, that was stuff that we couldn't cut, but it wasn't on the right of way.
That was the area, right in there.
That was in the area, but there were some trees hanging low. They were hitting the top of the road grader, so they went down Dutch Road and cleaned that stuff up, because it knocks the lights off, and that's just money.
Yeah, Mr. Vick, any comments? Madam Clerk, I'm looking for a motion to accept that.
I'll make a motion to accept the check register from 4/01/15 to 4/30/2015.
Support.
Brandon.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
Dick.
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes. All set, now it's our public comment time, and I'm going to be very strict with personal attacks. I won't allow it. We'll address the chair. And also, this will be the last month that the first public comment is just general public comments. Starting June, the first round of public comments will be agenda items only. The second round of public comments, status quo. It's kind of how other municipalities do it. I'm just trying to speed things up. Okay? I'll still allow you to get up and speak. I'll follow Mr. Horton's lead with the more time you have. Okay?
Thank you, Mark. Just for clarification, when you get down to the point where you're talking about the budget, the last few meetings has been a little bit hectic, and could you mention in next year's budget, not now, but when you get down to it, the lawyer's fee, how much money is set aside for the dam, the drain, and the pond? Because there was a lot of discussion, but I don't think it was ever really summarized. Thank you.
I'm Linda Roughton. This is the first time I've ever been to the village meeting, so I wanted you to know that. And I have a question in regards to the dam and those lawsuits, and wondering what type of insurance the village has that will take care of those charges and the things that come out of the lawsuit.
Katie Vick, 9341 Green Road. Last month at the council meeting on April 18th, you guys voted to approve the Goodrich Commons entryway monument project. Immediately after that, I expressed my concerns about the sign during the next available opportunity for public input, because there was no opportunity previously for me to have commented about it before you passed a motion. I had no idea it was on the agenda to be discussed. I'm concerned about it because I feel like nobody referenced any of the plans. If you had gone through the Parks and Rec Master Plan from 2009, which is the last one on record, it talks about, those recommendations included install a prominent sign for the park at West Eagle Road and Erie Street, so the visitors of downtown and the school and residents are more aware of the park. That sign that you guys approved doesn't even include the word park. It says Goodrich Commons. It's gonna look like another stone monument. Right there on Eagle Road, it's not gonna draw attention to the park. It's not gonna bring any awareness to the park. It's gonna look like another monument on Eagle Road. Another thing that it talked about was removing all the cluttered signs on Erie Street and replace it with a unified sign that includes the hours and other applicable rules. Nobody discussed any of those options. We could have included that in the sign. If somebody's paying for us to put a sign in, let's take advantage. Let's do that. Let's talk about landscaping it. That's included in the plans, and also talking about some other issues about lighting. So I really think that we should reconsider the proposal that we passed last week, because this should probably go to the Planning Commission, the Parks and Rec Committee, which we've still for months not been able to plan. But I think somebody professional should be planning this, not just throwing it along and seeing how it turns out. I'd hate to undo something. So, and I'd like to submit my comments for the record.
Diane Fredericks, Terra Court. My concern is that I believe, and I think many residents did, that the village council was here to represent us and help us to have things happen. But as I'm hearing about all the special meetings and all the things that are happening, it seems more like it's the village employees that are the ones that are being taken care of and not the village residents. My concern is that with the dam and the drain and the lawsuit, if we get out for $1 million, and we won't get out that cheap, it's $14,000 a household. It's a lot to have us assume. And things keep passing and keep happening, and it's like you're writing checks, and we're the ones that are filling the bank account to cash those checks. So I would ask that you don't give raises, that you don't hire another DPW person, we don't need it, and that you would be more considerate and being cautious and careful when you're spending our money, because we don't have the money to pay for any of this. Thank you.
Henry Wartella. I know I've made it to 4 of the special meetings here. And I know there's 4 of you that are wanting to bring this full-time DPW person on. And I mentioned the fact that there's too much downtime between September and April, which there is. Doesn't snow every day. Did anybody ever take any consideration of how much downtime there actually is? And why you would bring a person on full-time, a third one, when 2 people during the summer, most of the time, are doing nothing? Does anybody even consider that? Just trying to get my point across. Open your eyes. They're doing nothing all those days. Nothing. And you want a third body to do nothing. Terrible.
Patricia Wartella, 8010 Schumann Drive. And I'm going to begin by stating a few things here that I made sure that I wasn't going to be able to forget. I documented them. I'm going to address it. And I'm sure you'll let me know when my time's up, but I'm going to try to expedite this. The budget that's been discussed has made no attempt to help save the residents any money. This budget is a clear example of what should be done by this governing body, and that is to evaluate what expenses are going to be spent and what is needed for the upcoming projects and legal issues. Instead, this council has done just the opposite. They have chosen to spend more money on benefits for each full-time employee, paying the benefits at 100% with no contributory part of any of the employees, bringing on another DPW worker at a full-time status with benefits at 100%, giving extra days off with pay to top all this off, a cost of living increase to all employees. This council continues to ignore the residents who contribute all their taxes to this administration. Millions and millions of dollars are wasted on housing this administration and DPW for what? Why is it that this council continues to cater to this administrator, giving her administration, everything that she wants on our backs? When will it be enough, council? When will it be enough? Will it be enough when the Wheelock-Watkins Drain project is started and the village is paying a whopping 50% of the project? And at that time, the village will be crying foul, and they will, because it's already started, blaming the victims and telling Jeff Wright that you cannot afford the engineering cost and the cost of this project. Why they continue to spend millions of dollars for their employment and benefits, not on infrastructure. Infrastructure is not even a consideration. Infrastructure has been ignored far too long. People, wake up. I'm telling this community to wake up and demand it out of all of you. There's one person that I see on this council that wants it to be done correctly and wants it to be done openly. People need to wake up that this council quit catering to this administrator. Make your voices be heard. What is so wrong with contracting out services at a fraction of the cost? Savings to be given back to the paying residents for the neglect of this council and administration. This village could be a village, Mr. Baldwin. It could be a village we could all be proud of without excess spending on employment benefits for employees we do not need. Contract all the services out. Take the liability and cost out of the hands of the incompetent ones. Start reevaluating it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll be back. Huh?
Good evening. I'm going to only make one comment because you guys know how I feel. But one thing that I really did like that Jake made a comment the other day that made so much sense. I don't agree with how the budget's been, and you know that, Baldwin. But Jake, there was some money that he found. And that money, when he spoke up at that budget meeting, said, why can't we take that and put it into the dam? Every one of you turned it down and didn't allow it. We were told 3-4 years ago from Trumbull, from DEQ to DNR to Lansing, that we are to form a committee and that we are supposed to start saving, even if it's only $20,000. It's some money. It's an attempt. It's to show the people that live on that pond that you care. It's to show the people that don't live on the pond that you care. That's why I'm concerned about a full-time employee. And it's nothing personal towards him. But I do want to throw this out. If we're making sure he's getting what you announced, that he was working part-time for 1.5 years, right? You said that to me. So you didn't announce it to a lot of people, even though we saw him and assumed that maybe he was on a casual basis. If you started him at the top wage of $18 an hour, and you're taking him from part-time to 25 hours a week, which you all have said that you have. Now think about it. You take him from 25 hours to 35, of course, why wouldn't you save some money somewhere? It's not that I don't want people to have health care, but we don't have it all. We don't have it all, and we can't continue to do it all. And then still nobody's contributing. Nobody. You changed her health care last November. How many times in the last year did we come and talk about the Public 152 Act or 252, the 80/20 Act? That was important to us as citizens. We deserve everybody in this committee to know what was going on. You took Horton and Jackie and allowed them to do their own little thing. That's unethical and it doesn't follow code, Baldwin. You don't do that. You bring it forward, you vote on it, you let the public know what you're doing with your health care.
We all set? Anyone else? Going once? If we can, let's move on down to unfinished business. Genesee County Sheriff's Department report. Anybody have any questions on something that wasn't in their packet? Yeah, was it?
No, nothing there.
Quite a peaceful time, huh? Street administrator. Pardon?
It'll come tomorrow.
Probably.
As soon as the roads dry out, we'll be getting in there and getting them, the grader on them to get the chloride done. Hope to have it done by the end of the month. As soon as it quits raining, right now we just make mud.
Mr. President, I have a question for Pete. There's the curb up here on Eagle Road, kind of right across from the restaurants up there where there's, looks like a growth patch.
Yeah.
Are we going to be getting to that soon?
We're trying to get a bid to get all of that done up there.
So our DPW doesn't do that?
We can, but if we get a bid to come in there and do that, you're just wasting your money because they may do something else. We just put a temporary patch on it. We're trying to get a couple people to come in to give us, 3 people come in and give us bids to mill that area and put a patch on it for 3 years until the grant comes through to do it.
And the second question that I have, across the street from where that damaged curb is at, there's a pile of dirt that looks like we brushed and just left, probably Thursday or Friday. Are we planning on returning to pick that up?
I don't know if they get it up, but I'll check.
It's still there. I just drove by.
Water waste.
Well, 901, we're still working to finalize the incorporation of the city of Flint. We're working on purchasing policies and the general consortium agreement. Water and waste meetings next week. Nothing to report on that. And nothing to report on Parks and Rec.
Code enforcement, Dave is not here.
For Park and Recs, is it possible for, we can get a meeting scheduled for the Parks and Recs committee in June? Kind of keep pushing this off every meeting.
What I'm gonna do is send the Parks and Recs plan and the master plan out to everybody that I have an application for, if they have an email, and then they can review that and get back to me.
For like available dates, someone a good meeting would be to set up.
Everybody's got their notes. Number 4 is administrative.
In your packet that was on this desk, I gave you a copy of the finalized budget that you directed me to prepare. We need to have a public hearing. In the past, we've done the public hearing at the June meeting when we adopt the budget. I don't know if you want to set a meeting ahead of that, or set a meeting at that time. I have to have an ad in the paper 10 days to 2 weeks, it depends on when we would have the meeting, announcing the public hearing. So I don't know what your pleasure is.
At the regular meeting.
I'll talk loud. So is that gonna be our last meeting before the budget?
If it's accepted, yes.
Well, you can set other meetings. After you review the budget, like I said, that's prepared the way that I was directed last time to prepare it. Gonna have another meeting after you've reviewed that, and then set a public hearing, or have a public hearing at the meeting. It's up to you guys. You set the meetings.
Should we do that? Everybody review it, and then we'll go from there on.
Yeah, if I have another proposal, I'd like to bring to the council before we have a final meeting on the actual vote.
Okay, so we're gonna review it, we're gonna get back with Jackie, set up a time, and then go
You wanna
forward.
set up the time now? I don't know how long it takes to, if I gotta do changes on it,
I
I need
understand.
to know ahead of time.
The date's looking at.
Do you wanna have a morning meeting?
When are you getting back?
Tuesday the 19th. I'm getting back the 18th, it'll be available Tuesday the 19th.
You wanna have a 5 o'clock or 9 o'clock? Friday.
Are you
We
gonna still
have
gonna
Friday
be
at
fishing?
9 o'clock or 5 o'clock.
It's gotta be in the morning on Friday. Friday night, I like to have one.
Yeah, I'm not working Friday.
See what
Well,
happens.
you wanna do 5 o'clock on the 19th?
That's fine.
That's Tuesday?
Okay.
The two techie people have phones out, so I don't know what you guys are doing.
I'm pretty flexible. The 23rd, I know I can't.
Who's golfing on Tuesdays? Anybody?
No.
Who's fishing on Tuesdays? Anybody?
I might start.
Is that good for everyone? Let's set it up.
Buy me a license.
So you're talking Tuesday at 5 o'clock
Yeah, at night.
at night? Let's do it, yeah. No, it's not.
No, then the workers can't be there.
Okay. 5 PM, May 19th.
We're all good with that?
Let's review everything prior to that, please.
Day was that Tuesday night?
That's Tuesday the 19th.
19th? Five-ish.
And thank you for putting me in the techie department.
So that was our administrative. You want to bring this up, Jackie? I think this is.
Yeah, you can bring
Merits.
it now if you want.
The employees received from the Michigan Municipal League, a Workman's Compensation Control Award recognition, which I thought was kind of special. I don't know too many places that get those. Band-Aid free is what that means. Rate keeps the rates down. Sidewalks?
Anybody got any?
Pete, anything?
I don't have any, I ain't been on them. There's no mushrooms on 'em.
No, there's no mushrooms. New business. Jim Green, football flags. You thought it'd never come to that?
No, I knew we'd get to me. Jim Green, my address is 6504 Gale Road. I am here representing the Goodrich football boosters. And I'd like to put this in front of you if I may. What we propose to do is to put banners up on the flagpoles going through town during football season. We'd be responsible to put them up. And I think it'd be a sense of pride. We put all the varsity players' name, number, and it would go on the flagpoles going up and down Eagle and State Road if that's possible. We'd be responsible to put them up and take them down. I think it would be a good thing for the community. And they're wind resistant, weather resistant, hurricane resistant.
Earthquake?
Well, we didn't go that
Just
far,
have one
but
now.
if we need to review that, we will. We've been before you in the past with other organizations, and I just think this is really good for the community. I think it's a chance to bring some things together, sports-wise, community-wise, and it'd be a good look for other teams coming to see
You'll
us.
be taking them down after season and kids probably get them.
Absolutely, and the kids, good thing about this, the kids get to keep them.
So,
Very
this is-
nice.
so we're trying to do some, and if this works out, we'll become another agenda, maybe some other boosters, but we'd like to bring it together. And if we one day put banners when there's not sports too for Goodrich, but we'd like to fill those poles up.
Can you leave that for me so I can check with consumers? It has to be able to blow through. Not wind resistant, it has to flow through.
Okay, well,
So
we'll
if
make
you
sure,
leave one, I can check.
we'll make sure the material meets every specification. I think we put these together for purposes so we can bring them in, so you can see what they're looked like. They're not some, I used to hobo banners or anything.
Just the other way, I'll give you one of ours and you can take it.
Absolutely, whatever we need to get approval, we'd be grateful.
Safety would be a question that I would have.
Putting them up.
Putting them up and taking them down. Pete, if you would,
Well,
more about it than I do.
we've done it.
Liability.
We do,
Liability.
we've done it with Good Times in Goodrich. We have not had a problem. You've been kind enough in the past to let us do that for that festival.
Putting up step ladders.
If we need to get a bucket truck, whatever we need to do to get them up safety and take them down the right way too.
You're gonna be on N15, Sunday morning's your best time.
Okay, we won't impede traffic. We'll come.
Well, that's before everybody goes to church and gets back. If you can get him to do it, and I don't know if you can, but it would be nice if Fred would come in with his little, somebody with a red light behind you.
And I'm sure we can, or we've got
I
some,
get up there with the Lions Club. It gets sometimes a little hectic, but
we've got some professional electricians with bucket trucks and flashers too. So
if you
whenever,
got a bucket truck, you'll have them up and down no time.
right. So we've looked into this.
And
Do the
if he's
boosters have liability insurance?
We do. We do, because the boosters do and the youth football do, because we do travel. So we've got $1 million policy.
if you have a bucket truck with lights on it, you should be pretty good, but it won't hurt somebody behind it with flashers.
Absolutely. No, and I'll talk to Fred on Thursday, so we're.
Very nice.
Yes.
Would you give us an idea, maybe before you hang the signs, just come into the office and let us know where you're gonna hang them? As far as the poles or? Well, just an idea. Well, I did a rough count tonight. There's 80 poles on State Road. I may be wrong, and I think there's 22 on Eagle. I'd like to spread them out. We've got the option doing one side, and we actually did a two-side banner, whatever. I'd like to get the most exposure we can. I'll give you any sort of notice you need. I just wanted to know what idea you guys had for putting, hanging them is all.
No problem.
Well, there's not enough brackets up there, so we're gonna purchase our own, and they will be, for anyone to use. We're not gonna be, if the village needs them, whatever we need. So I think.
I like it.
Good idea.
My only concern really is the safety of it, putting them up there and taking them down, that's my only concern.
Well, like you said, the fire department, we've done it with, for Good Times, and we've had no issues. And in Good Times, we actually have to put them up and take them down in a shorter period of time, probably 1 to 2 weeks. This is gonna be 8 to 9 weeks, they'll be up. So
I really personally don't have any problem as long as you're gonna coordinate with Jackie and Pete on how and when.
Absolutely.
Maybe we can even drag Freddie in on this too, huh?
Freddie might be able to help. The problem with the fire department is if they get out there and something happens, they get sued. That's why they don't pump basements anymore.
Right.
Some property owner had his basement full, it wasn't here, they pumped it out, the basement collapsed, they sued the fire department. So all your insurance companies in Michigan will not allow fire departments to pump out your basement. Which, when I was a fireman, I pumped out a lot of, didn't have one blow in either, but not say it can't happen. When the outside pressure is greater than the inside.
Don't put these in the basement.
banners, Pete.
I don't know if Fred will do it or not, but you might get one of the volunteer firemen,
No,
maybe
I
this
know,
truck.
I'm just teasing you. Yeah, whatever we need to do to comply, we're in. I think this is just gonna build community. I mean, I'm sure the soccer program, whatever we need to do to get local groups, to let people know that this is Goodrich and we've got a strong community.
It's an outstanding idea.
I will talk with Freddie.
Whatever we can do.
Do you want to make a motion to allow them to do that for, to meet consumer specifications for an 8 or 9 week period? Is that what you said?
Whatever, well, if we go to the state playoffs, it'll be probably a couple of weeks longer, and that's the anticipation this year, but typically it'll be
For
8
football season?
Yes.
Consumers specifications and some safety standards set forth by council here, the Jackie and Pete.
Usually if he has a bucket truck with lights on it, you're pretty good up there, but do it early on Sunday morning and the traffic's not near as bad. Don't try it Saturday afternoon, and don't try it when they have the garage sale.
We got a motion?
I'll make a motion to allow Jim Green and his organization to hang his football flags with the contingencies of consumers' regulations.
Second. Support. You got it.
Super, thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks,
I'll give you a-
All in favor, aye?
No Martians.
Okay, now we're gonna move on to some resolutions here.
Do you want me to do?
Please.
This is resolutions that we pass every year, extension of local taxes so that the treasurer can collect them until the end of February, and then they go down to the county to be collected. We need a motion for.
Any questions?
From my understanding, what we don't collect, the county is responsible for collecting, basically what this is stating.
Yeah, we send them down on 28th, 29th, whatever, and then they, it goes through their process, and they send us a check at the end of June, if they have money to do that. But this just, instead of stopping the collection the end of September, this allows us to collect them here instead of them getting the penalties.
Anybody else? You good? Good.
I mean, this is probably something you do every year, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Looking for a motion?
I make a motion to pass resolution 201503, extension of local taxes.
Support. Roll call, please.
Brandon.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
Dick.
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes. Next one under new business is resolution 2015-04, the delinquent sewer charge collection.
This allows the treasurer to put anything that's over 3 months old on the tax bill, according to the ordinance.
I'll make a motion.
We do it every year.
I'm gonna make a motion that we, should take on, that's the wrong thing, approve a resolution 2015-4, delinquent sewer charge collection.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Brandon.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes.
Maury.
Yes.
Dick.
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes. The resolution 2015-05, delinquent weed collection.
It's the same situation. Anybody that doesn't pay, anybody that doesn't cut their weeds, and they get their notification that we're going to come in and get it done. If they don't pay the bill, then it goes on the tax bill. We do the same thing every year.
Okay, do we do anything about lawns? Is that, would that be something in the weeds, or is that?
Vacant buildings,
Wait a minute.
coordinate between DPW, Tracy, and Dave.
Okay. That's gonna be an issue up town again on 15, because it's got a head lot.
Well, that's what
The old house is gone, but that lawn is not been growing yet. He bought the house next door, and that's gonna be growing. And same old deal, 10 inches of grass, and no one lives there.
We'll get on.
Does that include weeds growing up on the side of houses as well? For vacant property, and I'm referring to the house that's right around the corner of Eagle and M15. I believe that Ken's Ready Mix owns it.
East Eagle.
They used to, right?
I think they still own, what do you mean leave it?
It's starting to grow in, like there's almost not a house there now. There's so many weeds growing up around
They
it.
usually keep it, I don't think we've ever charged them. No,
He's
they
kept it
usually,
mowed.
they keep it mowed. We can,
So last question I have, just clarification. Is this for every property owner or mainly just vacant property owners?
any property owner that doesn't cut the grass. I can put the ordinance in your box if you want.
No, that's fine. That's just,
All set, looking for a motion.
Make a motion that we pass resolution 2015-5 delinquent week collection.
Yeah, everywhere, please.
Brandon,
Yes.
Horton,
Yes.
Maury,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Baldwin.
Yes. Budget amendments?
The white packet that I just gave you.
Go slow.
Everything on here, with the exception of the attorney, crosses each other out. On the first page, major and minor roads increased $3,000 each as far as revenue coming into the general fund from major and minor roads. And if you go to page 2, the adjustment to the health insurance for the administrator, those figures cross with the revenue on the front page. It's just an adjustment to, no increases or anything, it's just the adjustment when it changed. Down below, on page 2 again, memberships, when the budget was prepared, we didn't have the Miss Dig membership. We just got that back in November, so that increased $1,010. The insurance, those bills are in, so that decreased $955. Miscellaneous expense increased $1,000 because I didn't turn in my mileage on a monthly basis. I kept it, nabbed it up. And then reduction of training for 1055. So all of those numbers cross each other out. It's not increasing the budget at all. If you go down to the bottom of page 3, increase the general legal. That will have to end up, depending on what the total is, come out of your fund balance. It's an unexpected expense from when the budget was put together, and I have no idea how much more will come with that. Page 4, this is what I was telling you about, that sometimes we have more wages come out of major and minor roads than property. So the reduction of property wages is $12,000. Reduction of gas and oil, because the gas prices were down this year, is a reduction of $1,000. Property maintenance and repair is an increase in $1,000. And equipment shop is a reduction of $2,800. And if you continue on down, the code enforcement officer, I budget what he could make if he worked all the hours. So that reduction of $4,000. If you take the top 12,000 and the equipment rental, or the equipment of 2,800 and that 4,000, when we get to major and minor roads, that takes care of that with the transfer to major and minor roads. Nothing on page 5. An increase in park wages, $500, and a reduction in park equipment of $500, so they cross each other out. And as I mentioned, the increase of $18,800 for a transfer to minor road is taken care of in those 3 items that I mentioned. Anybody have any questions about general fund?
Just, I think I'm following here, but on page 5 it says park wages of $500. You're adding $500. That's going to be coming out, so it's going to go up to $5,000 of spending.
Yes. That's good. If you look at right now, we've spent actually $46.25 on the park. We had a lot of damage done to the park this year with the windstorm that we had and the rain storm. Any other questions?
I'm sure I'll have some, but it's gonna be in another meeting.
Let's see. Continuing on page 7, again, adjusting major winter wages and routine wages. Routine wages increased, and these numbers will again be adjusted at the end of June when we have our final meeting. I would anticipate, I don't know for sure. Winter wages, we spent $11,383, so that left $39.54 to be used elsewhere in the major road account. Major road equipment, I reduced that by $43.33 because we use more equipment for winter, and increased that $73.33. And again, these numbers stay within the fund and crisscross each other. Any questions on major road?
I have a few, but I'm gonna let you finish, just to make this easy.
Minor road, I added the extra highway tax that we're getting, those 3 payments of $5,000, and the additional transfer from general fund into the revenue from minor roads, and then adjusted, again, the routine and the winter wages, maintenance and repair, equipment rental for winter and routine. And again, those things cross each other out. Questions on minor road? Page 9, there isn't anything. Page 10, again, the adjustment to the health insurance, and that crosses it out with, because of the changes to the Obamacare. It reduced the health insurance for the secretary by 15 and changed mine by 15. Nothing on page 12 or page 13.
So on page 6, on the net of revenues and expenditures, on the far right-hand column, it says available balance, we're still in the negative of $13,979.
What was the number you said?
On page 6,
Yeah.
under net of revenues and expenditures, bottom right, far right, $13,979. That's in parentheses, so that means we're still in the negative, which means we're overspending.
I didn't change that. If you take the 625,928 on page 1 for revenues, it's 632,052, and that basically is because of the attorney's increase for general fund. Instead of 15,000, it's 6.
Then on page 8, for total expenditures, again, on the very bottom, we're in a negative of $1,844.
Yeah, those numbers, if you look at the revenue at the top, 105,554, top of that page over to the side. You see that?
No.
You're on page 8?
Yep.
Is that number?
Yep.
Okay, the expenditures are 101,954.
Gotcha. That column just hasn't been updated in what I'm looking at.
When I do the budget amendments, until they go into the system, those numbers don't change.
Okay.
That's why I put them off to the side.
So then on page 12, excuse me, page 10, net revenues and expenditures, where it shows that we're in the negative for $111,530. Just for
Which page are you
clarification, I'm on page 10.
Yeah, okay.
As I went through this, that kind of looked to be because of the Erie Street project, looks like it cost $112,000. If you added everything up, I'm going off the green sheet, off of memory on here, and we don't have that expense going into next year.
Correct.
Okay.
But other than the gravel that we talked about at the last meeting, for Dutch Road and Union Street.
So our expenditures should be well less going
We have
into next year's budget.
$18,000 in fund balance in that account.
So I guess by our next meeting, you can have all these numbers figured in here and we'll see an accurate and updated one. So I don't have to spend 3 hours doing math again.
Right.
Appreciate that.
Right.
That's broken.
Oh. If anybody doesn't have any other questions, I'm looking for a motion to approve the budget amendment as presented on 5/11/215.
Any other questions, guys?
And again, the budget is a working document. These numbers change, unexpected things might come up. There isn't anything in here for the dam, the park, the dam, the drain, the pond, because we don't have any concrete figures. We have $300,000 in fund balance that can be allocated by council for those projects, but at this particular point in time, we don't have any money to allocate. We just have $300,000 in our fund balance that can be used for anything. So I'm looking for a motion.
Everybody's all set? I'll make a motion. Support.
Brandon? Horton?
Yes.
Maury?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes. All right, our last segment of public comment, please.
Cindy Beebe. One other thing I forgot to mention is I know that you guys have done a lot of work down in the park, but you've made a mess in the cemetery. I went back there and I watched it 2 years ago, just let me talk. I watched it 2 years ago and there was debris being dropped along the edges of the wood in the cemetery. I went back there. I don't know how many people know, but there's the most beautiful meadow back there that when it blooms is the most gorgeous lavender. It's dumped. You took the huge trees that you cut down, you put them and banked them all on the lot line. They take trucks back there. Everything is back there. We can't keep dumping in our own village when we're trying to clean it up. So why can't we? I get my 3 minutes. I get my 3 minutes. So what I'm asking you is to stop that, and now that we've got extra DPW, pick it up and get it out of there. We have to have a new system. You can't allow that. That is just so disrespectful to the people that have lived here forever. If my loved one was in that cemetery, I'd be mortified. So that being asked, I'm hoping that's something that every one of you guys will take a trip back there and check out. It needs to be removed. And what you need to consider is to find somebody like Bedrock that will come and pick up the debris for you. I know it used to be like somewhere between $6 to $10 a yard. I could be wrong. I've not called them or anybody else to check, but we need to start doing that. We can't take our stuff and dump it. We just can't. It's not right.
Hold on. Before you leave.
Hold on.
I'm sitting down. You don't tell me what to do.
Do it on your public comment. Council, thank you.
Tricia Wartella, and again, I took some notes as you were going through your agenda, Mr. Baldwin. But I've got a quick question regarding the millings that were behind Mr. Maury's house. Where did those millings go? The second item that I've got written down, and I want the council to be aware of this, but in November you voted on the PA Act 152. I took it upon myself to contact the Michigan Treasury Department regarding this entire legislation and talked in depth and also received documents. I just want to inform you that regardless of voting on it, you have every opportunity if you have to, and if you find it in your budget to reopen it, to allow this to be implemented with the healthcare coverage, you have every opportunity. This is not a set in stone vote by this council. You can open it back up. You can vote on it as a council to get the employees that receive health benefits to either pay a 80-20 or a hard cap. And this will alleviate monies for the village residents, and that money can stay for infrastructure. If you are opting to give them health care, this is the opportunity that you have. You're not held at gunpoint on this one. The other thing is the balance. I looked on the purple sheet here, and your balance on your construction 2013 is at $18,321.75. That's that bond on Erie Street, am I correct? On the purple sheet.
It's both of them.
The bond, Erie Street and Dutch Road. Okay. Why don't we take that amount there and put it on principal? And because the road itself that you did and the Dutch Road Bridge is completed, why don't you take that amount and put it on the principal? I for one, and I'm sure everybody else would agree, if you can pay on the principal and bring this down so this bond can get paid off, would be far better. Instead of putting it into gravel, we could take money saved on other issues and put it into gravel if they need it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Murray, please.
On the cemetery, first, the village does not own the cemetery. The
I
cemetery,
know that.
and all that stuff back in there where those trees and logs are piled, that was stuff from the storm that we paid a guy to put back there, because we had $5,000 to do it. And over a period of time, possibly again this year, there's another 5,000–6,000 yards of dirt coming as we're filling that. And if you really want to know why that hole is back there, you remember? We don't. But when the railroad went in,
Right.
that's all gravel.
It was removed.
That
Yeah.
was removed. That area was mine. We are filling it. This one end towards the west or the east, that's all been filled in the last 15 years.
You shouldn't
For
be doing
further
it,
use.
Maury. It looks terrible. I want everybody to go look at it.
Please, please,
And
please.
the village did not put that stuff there. When we had the trees cut, the guys that cut the trees put most of that stuff in there. We cut 5 trees out last fall and they were pushed in a pile. They haven't been taken care of yet. But you gotta realize, the only people working in the cemetery are volunteers. Me and
Right.
another guy mow it.
Right.
And anybody can come in and do weed whacking. I've been trying to hire a guy.
I'm
And
talking
going
the
to-
woods.
But you can't hire anybody because they don't wanna work. And we can't pay more than $10 an hour, but you can make 80 bucks in a day and day and a half, 120, but you can't get anybody. So we're mowing tomorrow, and I'll probably have to weed whack for a while. But we volunteer. We've got less money than anybody. Every cemetery in the state of Michigan's going broke other than one in Holly.
I know that, and that's why I'm so concerned about the debris. You don't
But-
cause more work down the road.
We couldn't afford to get rid of it, man. We had $5,000 to get the trees done. That's all the money we had.
Make sure they understand.
It comes from the cemetery's trees.
Those were the cemetery trees that are piled down there.
Not all of them were.
Most all, my guys ain't been taking much stuff down there other than broken concrete and stuff, and we cover it up with dirt. Because once that's filled
Concrete
up,
shouldn't go there.
Open
18
dialogue.
feet down.
Open dialogue.
and it's our cemetery. It belongs to the board and the people in it, and I have not had one complaint from anybody. Other than,
Jump to the millings.
and the millings that were in my backyard went out on the road as soon as they could get them out there and spread them. That's where they went. They were used here and there on the roads. A lot of it went on Saginaw Street to fill because it stayed better than gravel. They were heavier. That's where that went. There was about 70 yards and they moved it as quick as possible. They couldn't put it on Saginaw when they were working in the area.
please.
Yes, I just wanted everybody to know, as of this evening, with regrets and heavy heart, that I must submit my resignation as village councilman. After much thought and prayer, my wife and I have come to the decision that at this time I need to put all of my time and attention to my family needs. Most of you know my situation, and I greatly support, I greatly appreciate everybody's support. This was not an easy decision. I love our village, and with that said, it's been an honor and privilege to serve you. Thank you.
Mr. Graham? You will be missed, and we wish you well and
Thank you.
support your decision and best of your family.
Thank you.
With that said, it looks like we'll be accepting some, I assume we can start in accepting any kind of applications for this position.
Yeah, people can write a letter. It's up to council to appoint somebody to replace.
So if we know the process, it's you can submit an application and council will then review it. We'll appoint someone.
Is that in an open meetings?
That will be done at a meeting. We'll review all the applicants and choose one from there. Questions on it?
Nope, way to do it.
And with that, the budget is a work in progress. And the amount of meetings, I don't think there's really any more meetings here than any of the other meetings that I can recall in the past. There will be more information available as we go forward on it. There's some other things, I guess, that
I want to mention this, this information we got that Mark had just showed me tonight. This Michigan Municipal League Workmen's Compensation Fund Loss Control Award. What that really means is that the employees of the village, the people that work at the village, the office staff at the village, has done the best job that they can to keep themselves safe, which means they had very little accidents. They had no claims because they had to be out of work because they broke their hand working on something, or they cut their finger, or anything like that requires medical deal. Then that falls about on the workman's comp portion of it. And all I'm really saying here is that the village has done a great job of maintaining a very low cost for any kind of injuries. Because we have an injury that is going to show up here, and that means that the rates will go up because there's a factor involved with claims. So that's what it's all about, and that's pretty important. A lot of companies, and I would guess probably municipalities don't get this kind of a award. It's pretty tough to come by, really. I thought I'd mention it.
anything else?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Support? Aye, 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 huh?
See you later.